So we have done, what have we done? I just saw this, okay. Done the collective of Fucus and Aries, so now we're on to Taurus for the month of April 2025. So welcome to the channel, guys, gals, amoebas. We are going to see what's coming in for the month of April 2025 for Taurus. You're going to get 5 cards, just of indeterminate purpose or meaning or anything until we get the intuitive message off of it. So as usual, like and subscribe if you like the content here on the channel, and I do dailies right now primarily. So, but it is for every sign, including the collective, so keep an eye out for that. And I do have everything in playlist. I'm about to post a community post about the different links and stuff, so here we go. Yeah, that's why this isn't looking right. Okay. You think I'd have all this set up beforehand, but even if I do, it ends up not being right, so I'm not going to bother until I get into it. That could be something that you are focused with doing right now, Taurus, is waiting until I want to say the end is nigh before you start tackling a problem. It's almost as though you want to see what all is going to hit you, because if you deal with it whenever it first comes up, it's like the problems keep trickling in. Like if something looks like a problem with the moon in the upright, if you're just listening to this with the moon in the upright, that may be what you're fearing right now. If there's any fear associated with this at all, it really just seems like it might be anxiety. Like you don't want to buy into the illusion that once you deal with something, it's going to be done and over with. Because once you start to fix things, it's almost like the initial problem was a premonition of all of the crap that you're going to have to continually deal with over and over and over again. And that's why we've got the world now. Right now, I'm not seeing the world as necessarily a positive thing. More like this is what your world is full of, or it's inundated with. There we go. This one wanted to fly out, but it almost said pull out. So if that applies to you, then there we go. But we've got the moon, the world, and the Knight of Cups in reverse. I really want to say that the world is almost more of an infinity symbol for you right now, because it's like once you deal with one thing and you continue to deal with it until you're done, and then as soon as you're done dealing with whatever it is, whether it's a problem or whether it's a good thing, it's like it's just time for you to start over. And with the Nine of Cups, it's likely that you're still dwelling on an emotion from the past that you don't want to get over, but even you are acknowledging the fact that it wasn't all sunshine and roses. It wasn't everything good in the world at the same time. Whenever you were dealing with this nostalgic period that you're focused on, because that's where your good memories are, even like everybody else. I mean, this is everybody, but for Taurus, I think this is going to be the main focus for you for the month of April. It's like you're going back to look at the good times, but whenever you do, you're forced to face something that you don't want to deal with, that you don't want to feel. So you may start disassociating again. Disassociating, so that you don't have to deal with the pain or the horror or the rocky, rough waters of that point in time. But so you start to disassociate, you pull away from it, and then you start to miss it, and you start to go back into those emotions again until you pull yourself back out of it, and the period just starts all over and over again. If you're a woman, it could be because of your period. Or it could just be that you are focused, regardless of your gender, that this period of life that you're hyper-focused on, because part of you wants to get out of it. But then also, somehow, this is the only way that you're able to communicate, because the Page of Swords has his communication stick in the past. The page is looking one way and being pulled to go in that direction, but all of his action is focused on communicating about the past, talking about the past, trying to defeat the past. But even whenever he has defeated it, because he's moved on from it, he is in the future compared to that period of time in his life. He's still fighting it. Take this with a grain of salt, but this could be, with the Page of Swords, this could be a man-child kind of a syndrome. Someone who reached a stage of development and just was not able to communicate past that point, past that stage of development. And this could be really someone that you're dealing with too, Taurus, someone that doesn't move beyond a certain stage, whether it's trauma or anxiety. And it could be you too, and it could be a part of you that you're unable to acknowledge right now. But it feels like a big part of this too is going to be, especially with the Knight of Cups right there, some kind of mental or emotional arrest where things are just frozen at a certain point, a trauma point where things are just not changing. And that's why the world is here, because there's the illusion that everything's okay, everything is complete, everything is where it needs to be, but in reality, everything is frozen. Rested to a point of time where trauma happened, a big event happened. And for the final card, I'm going to draw some more, but for the final card, this is going to be it. Out of the run of 5, and everything else is going to be clarification. So, yeah, this focus on the past could be relating to a power struggle. Yeah, so in totality right now, we've got the moon in the upright, the world in the upright. So there's illusion and dream, intuition, following your subconscious desires, and kind of being fearless in the face of the night because there is illumination through the moon. And we've also got the world, so being able to accomplish things, obtain things, being happy with what it is that you've got and saying, okay, finally this is done, this is full, this is where everything needs to be, and everything feels like it's whole. There's still maintenance that needs to go on, but maintenance is maintenance. It's going to happen one way or the other, but for the most part, things are where you want them to be, but at the same point, at the same time, there's some kind of emotional arrest, because it really does feel like you are either doing this to yourself or someone has you in a position where they're holding it against you. Almost like you would be arrested by a police officer or even though you have everything where you want it, it's almost like you're still being kept captive by this replaying of events, this replaying of emotions over and over again. And even though you're able to communicate it and articulate it, it's like it just keeps looping you back into this infinite cycle of never getting past it, because you get to the point where it's the hard part, and the hard part is where this battle comes in, where things are unaligned, and there's a chance that there's a feeling of OCD, but it's not like the typical OCD that you think of where people can't stop cleaning, or they have to they have to touch the doorknob 3 times whenever they leave a room. And it doesn't feel like it's that. It feels more like an avoidant kind of OCD. Like, well, it's difficult right now, and anything I do about this is not going to change it. And I think that it could just be walking away and not dealing with it. See, I don't want to say that either, because not confronting it is what gets you back in this infinite loop. And I hate to sound like a therapist whenever I say this, but it's like your certain areas of your mental life are disorganized because of this. So maybe your physical environment is disorganized, and if you start to organize, not just like organize things in piles, but like organize the things that you physically interact and surround yourself with, because I'm a pile person too. And I know how hard that is, but it may help get you out of the blockage of whatever this mess is, whatever this trauma is. It might help you get out of that pattern of constantly getting stuck on this and then not dealing with it. I don't know why, but that card is going to be the tiebreaker, and you're not getting any more cards. That's how I'm feeling about that right now. And it felt necessary to say it. Keeping secrets may be what's leading to a great deal of misunderstanding. If you keep your plans hidden, if you keep your plans in the dark, even though you know what they are over here at the moon, with that expectation that other people are just going to fall in line without any kind of, I want to say wherewithal, but that's not the word that I'm looking for. Any kind of intelligence or background as to why they need to subscribe to a certain mode of action, it's not going to go well, because if they're doing work and there's no end in sight, there's no point at which it stops, no one's going to want to be involved in that. And it does say independence on the 3 of Cups, and I think that may be where this is coming in. Because other people are seeing this infinite loop that you're in, and they can see how some of your other actions relate to this. And it's almost as if they can feel that you're disconnecting from the answer because you don't like the answer. And like, you found the answer a number of times as far as they've seen it, and they're sitting here like, well, you have the answer, why don't you utilize that answer and move past this, evolve, change. A big part of this may be that there's some idea that at some point in time we grow up and we're adults, and then we get to stagnate at that point where we become adults and not change our thoughts, change our opinions, unless there's like some dire situation where we have no choice but to change. And even then, it tends to only be temporary. And it does affect both genders, because I was about to say that this seems to, I think it seems to outwardly affect men more like that, because they seem to be more prone to get into the cycle of, I do XYZ and that is it. That's what I'm supposed to do and everything should be good. Well, women are like that too, so it is both genders. Sometimes there's the illusion of adaptability and change, but often enough, that's the people who have these same friend groups, the same routines, the luxury of those same routines, but they can also kind of, I'm going to say it like this because this is how it's coming into my mind. It can kind of retard your ability to adapt to change that you don't anticipate. And that's our tiebreaker card. So part of this is all about deciding that if you have the control, if you have the... You're never going to have all the control, though. If you do everything, then everything is kind of like a feather in your cap. If you do everything, it's yours. And people don't have the right to have an opinion about it because they didn't have any part in this, in completing this, or taking care of it, or taking ownership of it, taking responsibility for it. That's not the case. If you are looking for any kind of way to get out of this, that may be the answer right there. Because we've got... Okay. This is where I'm going to go with this. As with all tarot readings, take it with a grain of salt, and if it applies to you, it does. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And maybe this is you, maybe this is someone that you're dealing with, and this is some insight to help you understand them a little bit better. But it looks like someone may be self-isolating in order to avoid some emotions that they can't deal with, that they can't communicate, even though they want to move past it. They want to move past this one point in their life where they had it together, and they may be just happy in this little infinite loop. Not really happy, but they're comfortable in this infinite loop because they control everything, and they can, they know what emotions are going to come at them. Because it looks like emotions may be the problem, which is why we have the High Priestess. And there's a chance that this is a relationship or a group of people where they take turns being the one that wants to move past this and get out of this, and that's a secret. That's the secret, is that they all want to move past and out of this, but there might be some kind of guilt, and that's where this overindulgence is coming in. Because they feel guilty for getting over it, and then the cycle repeats. And if you shoulder the burden of all the emotional, all of the physical trauma, all the physical work, it's not going to help anybody get over it. It's almost as though you may be better off handing back the responsibility of to the people who gave it to you. And it's not to the point where you need to boss everybody around, because that's not it. Because that would still be you taking ownership of it and saying, okay, this needs to be done by this person. This is how they need to do that. Still putting you in that position. And you don't need to. It's almost like it's a jar and you need to just pick it up, put the top on, and hand it back to the person that gave it to you. And then let them have it. Don't care what they do with it. Don't care if they take care of it or not. It's their responsibility. It's their thing to take care of, and that's all of their emotions, all of their personal responsibility that they've handed over to you to micromanage for them because they didn't want to. And this is a 22-minute reading right now, so I'm going to let you guys go, Taurus, and that is your month of April 2025. Please tune back in for the dailies that I put out, and there should be a mid-month that's going to come out too. So, as always, be sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising, and possibly your north node where your soul wants to be. So,